So essentially, like, how I came into what I feel like is my purpose was like haphazardly. I originally went to college for English. I thought I wanted to be a teacher. I always knew I liked interacting with people. So my path was jumbled in that I grew up thinking having a trade wasn't as prestigious as getting a degree and working in like blue collar markets. So I fought being an esthetician and working in this creative environment for a long time, as my mom was a hairstylist and a nurse. And so I'm like, I grew up in a family where it's like, get your degree, get your degree. So while in college, I realized how much I liked makeup and wanted to do it correctly. So I went to aesthetic school. So aesthetic school did afford me an associate's degree, which was fantastic. And I got to do exactly what I loved. Like, I learned that I loved skin as well as being trained, even more so for makeup. I was self-taught. So I garnered more skills going to aesthetic school. And afterwards, while in aesthetic school, I got my job at MAC. And it literally was a stepping stone from there. So from MAC, I found my job. It was called Brows on Upper 15th. They endowed me with so many additional skills. And from there, I branched out on my own. So it seems like a super duper long process, but it wasn't. It was like all in. I moved in here at the beginning of February, and that was 2020. And I went to aesthetic school in 2012. So between 2012, starting this journey and now having my own space, 8 years is a long time, but it's not because of all the experience that I've obtained doing it. Like right before I went to aesthetic school in 2010, on the like towards going into school at 2012. No, I finished aesthetic school. No, it was 12. Sorry, excuse me. The economy was not great. So what I had to do was work and go to school to provide for my child. I'm a single mom. So the obstacles of just like life. But I knew what I wanted, and I was at no point was I like, I quit. I don't want to do this. I always knew I wanted to work for myself. It was like not a question. I knew that I needed to be my own boss. And there was nothing that was going to stop me from getting there. So obstacles, life. There's always naysayers who are like, you need a regular job with insurance. You need to do this. You need to do that. But ultimately, I feel like we know what's best for us. And fulfilling what somebody else wants is not ever going to feed like your soul. So shutting down naysayers and like getting through life and keeping focused on what the ultimate goal is quintessential. This is the first year that, excuse me, I was able to take out a business loan, and I literally funded my whole dream. So it was hustling, like, and it sounds hard, and it was, but I didn't get all of these things overnight. It was like years of like, okay, I'm going to take this money and I'm going to invest back into myself. I'm going to set this aside and I'm going to invest back into myself. I think one of my biggest pieces of advice, don't look at everybody else's collection, what everybody else is doing, how they're going about obtaining the things. You get what you can afford right now, because skills are not in the products. Products help. Skills are in your hands and your eye, and you see things differently and you execute things differently, like period, point blank. So I got a business loan, no investors except for me. So I learned from other people in the industry, other estheticians, instructors, other makeup artists. I look at other people's work so as not to compare, but to see like, oh, they're doing this. This is cool. Let me try this, and practice. You also have to take failure and flip it. So there's been many faces and many things that I've executed terribly, but you learn in those moments, like, okay, I completely dropped the ball here, but I did this one thing good. So how can I integrate both of these things so the whole of it's fantastic? Practice, like over and over and over and over again. Like my ability to do a face in 2010 versus my ability to do a face now. And what's funny is I threw makeup on in the car because I never wear it. I'm like the makeup artist that never wears makeup. Like I don't ever have it on. So I'm like, I should probably put something on before I get on these girls' camera. But just keep practicing and let nobody and what they have to say in their opinion, like, take critique and don't let it thwart your efforts or discourage you. Like, okay, they may be offering sage advice. I can take this and I can apply it. But you can tell the difference between somebody who's offering like sage advice and wisdom and positive corrective criticism versus somebody who's just downing you. You don't have to listen to any of that. Take what you know, like, you know you're good at certain things, and expand on that. Like, I'm good at this. Let me sharpen up this. I love people, and when people get into your chair, they bring their bad day with them. They bring their particular insecurities with them. They bring all their junk with them. So the first thing you have to be able to decipher between is, did I execute badly, or are their rose-tinted glasses that they're looking at life through affecting how they perceive themselves? So I had a particular client who, it was the sister of a celebrity actually, and I did her makeup flawlessly, and she hated it. And she hated it because of her own issues, because I thought it was beautiful, her sister thought it was beautiful, everyone thought it was beautiful except for her because of how she was looking at herself. And then come to find out hours later, she's like, no, I actually do look really good. So you have to take those things into consideration. So you listen to your client, like, I fixed what she asked me to fix. She ultimately didn't like it in the moment. And you talk to, like, whatever you can do, you don't get offended. Whatever you can do, I always tell people it's makeup, it's skin, it's whatever we can fix. Especially with makeup, you can fix anything. You can take it all off and start over. You can do the things if it calls for it, because makeup is so forgiving. But you take into account, like, you're not bad at what you're doing. This particular person may not love your style. Everything's not for everybody. There are people who liked Monet and there are people who like Picasso, and those are entirely two different artists, but still very good artists. So like I said, take into, like, where is that person? Do they love what they look like before I even touch them? And if I know they're going to be picky, you really hone in on, like, this is what you told me to do. Let me repeat back to you what you're saying to me, so we're both on the same page. Because this person may say blue and I'll hear blue and think royal blue, but they're thinking baby. You really have to, like, get down to the nitty gritty and the details. One of the things I learned at MAC that is still so valuable to me is, like I said, repeating back to me. Somebody will be like, I want a smoky eye. So you get into, like, okay, you want a smoky eye, but my smoky may be black, gray, and white, and your smoky may be like chocolate brown, beige, gold. So you really hone in on those details, specifically what they asked for. You asked for picture references, and then you I don't want to say you lower their expectations, but you make their expectations realistic. Okay, you asked me for this. This is what we're going to do according to your eye shape, or whatever's best for your skin, or however that looks. And you go from there. But you communicate, and you don't take it personally if a client is upset. You do your very best.
What steps did you take to create the design for your company? And what ways did you promote your business?
That is actually another amazing Black woman. Her name is Ashley Gaffney, and she does, like, brand promotion and marketing and all of those awesome things. And I sat down with, it took us a long time. I sat down with her and told her, like, my ultimate goals and what I wanted my company to look like and how I wanted it to start and grow as it transitions, because this is, like, first spot, and then we'll jump off into to bigger things. So I sat down with her and gave her my creative vision, and she literally created my logo. And, like, if you get on my website, all the colors, I told her some of my favorite colors. She just got, like, palettes of things, and she took what I couldn't formulate into something tangible and made it tangible. So I can't take credit for that. The one thing I knew is that when people came in, I wanted them to feel heard and seen and leave feeling beautiful. Like, I wanted them to have a full experience, not just, oh, I did your makeup, and you, like, I don't want them to feel like cogs and like just a number or a ticket. I wanted them to know, like, oh, when I go see Bridgette, Bridgette's hearing me, she's seeing me, she appreciates me. They feel loved on, which is exact verbiage that's used on my website. Like, I want people to feel loved on, because we live in a society where people don't feel tended to or taken care of. And if I can, in an hour, make you feel taken care of, you're going to carry that throughout the rest of the day. And that's important to me. I think sometimes fear is stagnating. It makes you move slower. And though I appreciate all my experiences from my other jobs, I would have jumped sooner and worked for myself quicker, because that freedom is fantastic. It's hard work. It is absolutely hard work. And I wouldn't have doubted my skill as much. There's a level of humility I like to carry. Like, there's tons of things I can still learn, and I'm still learning even as a professional. But being confident, like, nah, you are good at what you do, and you just work towards better. Everybody's literally working towards better, and what that person is doing in their lane doesn't have anything to do with what you're doing in your lane. So just being more confident in my skill and what I bring to the table. Like, my lane is mine.